Continuing with Chapter 5, Wrestling Bout with Mohiddin Tamboli and Change in Lifestyle. To return to other words, to return to other stories of Sai Baba, there was a wrestler in Shirdi by name Mohiddin Tamboli. Baba and he did not agree on some points and both had a fight. In this, Baba was defeated. Henceforth, Baba changed his dress and mode of living. He donned kafni, wore a langot waistband, and covered his head with a piece of cloth. He took a piece of sackcloth for his bed and was content with wearing torn and worn out rags. He always said that poverty is better than kingship, far better than lordship. The Lord is always brother, befriender of the poor. Gangagir was also very fond of wrestling. Once, while he was wrestling, a similar feeling of dispassion descended over him, and at the proper time he heard the voice of an adept saying that he should wear off his body playing with God. So he too gave up sansara and turned towards God realization. He established a mat on the banks of the river near Puntambe and lived there with his disciples. Sai Baba did not mix and speak with the people. He only gave answers when he was questioned. By day he always sat under the neem tree, sometimes in the shade of a bubble tree, near the stream on the outskirts of the village. In the afternoon he used to walk at random and go at times to Nimga. There he frequented the house of Balasaheb Dingle. Baba loved Mr. Balasaheb. His younger brother named Nana Sahib had no son, though he married a second wife. Balasaheb sent Nana Sahib for taking darshan of Sai Baba, and after some time with his grace, Nana Sahib got a son. From that time onwards, people began to come in large numbers to see Sai Baba, and his fame began to spread and reach Ahmednagar. From hence, Nana Sahib Chandorkar and Keshav Chidambar and many others began to come to Shirdi. Baba was surrounded by his devotees during day and slept at night in old and dilapidated masjid. Baba's paraphernalia at this time consisted of chilim, tobacco, a tamrel, tin pot, long kafni, a piece of cloth around his head, and a satka, short stick. He always kept with him. The piece of white cloth on the head was twisted like matted hair and flowed down from the left ear on the back. This was not washed for weeks. He wore no shoes, no sandals. A piece of sackcloth was his seat for most of the day. He wore a kyopin waist cloth band, and for warding off cold, he always sat in front of Duni, sacred fire, facing south, with his left hand resting on the wooden railing. In that Duni, he offered an oblation of egoism, desires, and always muttered, Allah Malik, God is the sole owner. The masjid in which he sat was only of 2-room dimension, where all devotees came and saw him. After 1912, there was a change. The old masjid was repaired and a pavement was constructed. Before Baba came to live in this masjid, he lived for a long time in a place, Takia, where with ghungru, small bells tied on his ankles, Baba danced beautifully and sang with tender love. Turning water into oil. Sai Baba was very fond of lights. He used to borrow oil from shopkeepers and keep lamps burning the whole night in the masjid and temple. This went on for some time. The Baniyas who supplied oil gratis once met together and decided not to give him oil. When, as usual, Baba went to ask for oil, they all gave him a distinct no. Unperpetuated, Baba returned to the masjid and kept the dry wicks in the lamps. The Baniyas were watching him with curiosity. Baba took the tamrail tin pot, which contained very little few drops oil, put water in it and drank it, and then forced it out to fall into the container. After consecrating the tin pot in this way, he again took the water from the tin pot and filled all the lamps with it and lighted them. To the surprise and dismay of the watching Baniyas, the lamps began to burn and kept burning the whole night. The Baniyas repented and apologized, and Baba forgave them and asked them to be more truthful in future. The Pseudo Guru Javhar Ali. 5 years after the wrestling about above mentioned, one fakir from Ahmednagar by name Javhar Ali came to Rahata with his disciples and stayed in Bakal, spacious room near Virabhadra temple. The fakir was learned, could repeat the whole Quran, and had a sweet tongue. Many religious and devout people of the village came to him and began to respect him. With the help of the people, he started to build an idgah, a wall enclosure in which Mohiddins pray on Eid day near the Veer Bhadra temple. There was some quarrels about this affair, on account of which Javhar Ali had to leave Rahata. Then he came to Shirdi and lived in the masjid with Baba. People were captured by his sweet talks, and he began to call Baba his disciples. Baba did not object and consented to be his Chela disciples. Then both Guru and Chela decided to return to Rahata and live there. The Guru teacher never knew his disciples' worth, but the disciple knew the shortcomings of the Guru. Still, he never disrespected him, observing carefully his duties. He then served the master in various ways. They used to come to Shirdi off and on, but their mainstay was in Rahata. The loving devotees of Baba in Shirdi did not like that Baba should stay away from them in Rahata. So they went in a deputation to bring Baba back to Shirdi. When they met Baba near the Idgah and told the purpose for which they came, Baba said to them that the fakir was an angry, ill-tempered fellow. He would not leave him, and that they should better go back to Shirdi without him before the fakir returned. While they were thus talking, the fakir turned up and was very angry with them for trying to take away his disciples. There was some hot discussion and altercation, and it was finally decided that both the Guru and the Chela should return to Shirdi. And so they returned and lived in Shirdi. But after a few days, the Guru was tested by Devidas, and he was found wanting. 12 years before Baba arrived in Shirdi with the marriage party, this Devidas, aged about 10 or 11 years, came to Shirdi and lived in the Maruti temple. Devidas had fine features and brilliant eyes, and he was a dispassion incarnate and a dhyani. Most people, namely Tatya Kote, Kashinath, and others, regarded him as his guru. They brought Javhar Ali in his presence, and in the discussion that followed, Javhar was roasted and fled from Shirdi. He went and stayed in Bijapur and returned after many years to Shirdi and prostrated himself before Sai Baba. The delusion that he was Guru and Sai Baba his Chela was cleared away, and he repented. Sai Baba treated him with respect. In this case, Sai Baba showed by his conduct how one should get rid of egoism and do the duties of a disciple to attain the highest end, mainly self-realization. This story is told here according to the version given by Malsapati, a great devotee of Baba. In the next chapter, Ram Navami festival, the masjid, its former condition and latter improvement in it, etc., will be described. Bow to Shri Sai. Peace be to all.